What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. Welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates on Bitcoin. Today we're going to talk about the CME futures are expiring today. Are we going to get a huge move? What has happened in the past? A lot of times we've seen dumps, but we could see a big pump. We're going to take a look at the bigger time frames and see what is making me a little more bullish, and then we're going to zoom on into the smaller time frames and show you why I'm bearish. So definitely stick around. Should be a good video. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, it's not financial advice, trading advice, any of that. Always do your own due diligence before investing or trading in any markets. Before we begin, I want to remind you guys we are doing a Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet giveaway. We're doing that on Sunday. All you have to do to enter to win is make sure you take a second out, smash that like button, leave your comment down below, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will get you entered to win. And let's take a look at the news headlines to get a feel for the sentiment real quick. Bitcoin pops and drops after Powell introduces average inflation targeting. I'm sure most of you guys seen that yesterday. We had a big pump and then a huge drop after that. And it seems like we're making our way back up towards that area right now. Gold, Bitcoin drop in tandem. Three key reasons Powell's speech didn't cause a rally. Wasabi wallet is revamping its coin join design to allow Bitcoin mixing with differing values. Whistleblower kidnapped in Ukraine after accusing crypto firm of exit scam. No comment. Satoshi Nakamoto, Winklevoss twins makes the case for $500,000 Bitcoin. I'm not totally against that case. I just don't think it's going to be anytime soon. First mover, Binance's new DeFi futures let crypto traders bet on decentralization. Fidelity, president files a new Bitcoin fund. The rest is pretty old news. So I'm still pretty bullish in the news, obviously. Let's take a look at the fear and greed index. We're at 74. We dropped 1 point from yesterday. Still in the greed zone. Let's look at the monthly. As you guys know, I've been pointing out, you can see in the blue arrows, we have made nothing but lower highs in the macro. This month's candle is looking pretty ugly. We've talked about this yellow dotted trend line here for quite a bit, and it sits around $11,000, right around $11,200. A monthly close below that, and it's going to get ugly. But we can see our first top over here, 19,924. Then we had 13,930 and 12,550. So as of right now, of course, guys, I wanted to talk about too, the CME futures contracts expire today, and sometimes we'll see a huge move during that. The only way for this candle to get bullish is for the huge move to be in the upward direction and see how this candle closes on the monthly. Remember down here, if we do break that 11.2, the 8 EMA is around the $9,600 to $9,700 range, and there is a CME futures gap down there that I do believe will fill at some point. There's also one at 7,600 and one at 3,570. Doesn't mean they have to fill, guys, but definitely make sure you keep that in the back of your mind so you don't get scared if it does start heading in that direction. But let's take a look at the RSI. In the monthly, we're having lower highs in the RSI and higher highs in the price action. That is bearish divergence in the monthly. Let's see how this candle closes. That divergence was confirmed last month, but I'm real curious to see what happens with this candle. I think it's going to be bearish. That's my opinion. We'll see what happens. Let's look at the weekly. As you can see, the bullish case scenario here, guys, would be looking at the thick white trend lines as a triangle. The measured move of that would be 27 to 28,000. And then looking at the yellow falling broadening wedge here with the breakout target of 16,000. As you can see, even in the weekly here, we are watching the same dotted line. We did get a nice bounce off of it yesterday. We'll see if this holds or we drop below it today, which I think there's a good possibility. But to come back down and retest the white trend line and the 55 EMA would match up somewhere around the $9,200 range. So keep that number in your head. And let's take a look at the weekly RSI. This is the one thing that tells me we could possibly get another leg up here to retest the top of this triangle before continuing down. And if we do get up here and blow past that and close a weekly above that, we've talked about this many a times, I will be super bullish at that point. But until then, I see no reason to be as bullish as a lot of these people are. So anyways, let's look at the daily. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know I have quit I had a 6-figure income. I quit that and to take on YouTube and trading full time, and I am extremely glad I did. My wife even notices my attitude is so much better. Just being able to do something you love and make money at doing it is just so freeing. I have no bosses. I have nobody telling me what to do, how to do it, anything. I have no people I have to manage to tell what to do and then count on them. It's just been a great freeing experience. And I want to thank all you guys for helping me along the journey. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to smash the likes and leave your comments, by the way. All right, so let's look at how I've been looking at this as a possible rising broadening wedge. Also have it looking at it as a rising wedge too. We'll take a look at that in a different chart. But if we take a measured move of this, if we were to break down, actually within the next few days, let's just get an estimate here. That would be around $3,800 range. Again, guys, not saying it's going to get there, but that is a measured move. That is a definite possibility. We would obviously have to break this trend line here at around 10,800. And if you guys have been watching my videos, you know 10,800 is one of my targets right now. And then we have this pink trend line here off of all the wicks down below here. If we came down to retest that one, along with the 200 EMA, would be around the 96 to 9,700. Imagine that is where the gap is at. If that was to break, we could go much lower, and we'll take a look at the Fibonacci retracements from the swing low to the swing high in the next chart. But first, let's look at the RSI on the daily. We have broken through this. We've talked about that. I said that was going to be bearish. If we did that, which we did, and we closed down there, could possibly get a pump up to retest the top, or I'm sorry, to retest the old support as resistance before continuing down. So do keep that in mind. We're most likely going to get some sort of big move today, I would imagine, from the CME. If not, it's going to be a wild weekend, I'm sure. Let's look at Prime XBT. These are my trades. Currently, I am in the red. I am negative $623. I'm still up on the account, though. I did start this with 1 Bitcoin, and this isn't my main account, guys. This is just an account I have for this channel. But as of right now, I am down $616. I do have shorts from all the way down here. I have my stops right now at 11,650, which is pretty risky. There's a lot of risk there, guys. But I don't see us going much higher than this trend line I have here from all the way back and the 200 EMA. And this is on the hourly, guys, but that lines up right around the 11,550 range. I don't see us getting much higher than that if we do rise here. But we'll see what happens. I will keep you guys updated on this trade, or these trades, I should say. But if you guys are interested in trading, I'm going to leave a Prime XBT tutorial up top. Definitely check it out. It can change your lives. Just be careful. Make sure you practice and don't just jump in with money. Go high leverage and whatever. Use my promo code Savy50. That will get you 50% on top of your deposit as a bonus. Every time you deposit, you will get that 50%. You can't withdraw it, but you can use it towards your margin. Savvy25 will get you 25% off your trading fees. And a lot of people think that they don't understand the leverage on Prime XBT. I'll try to zip through this real quick, guys, so we can get on with the smaller time frames. But I just want to explain this. A lot of people have asked because they think you can only do 100 times leverage or whatever. Let's say Bitcoin was $1,000 and you had, I'm sorry, let's say Bitcoin was $10,000. We'll just use even numbers to make it easier to understand. You would, let's say you had $1,000 in your account. Bitcoin was 10,000. You wanted to short or long 1 Bitcoin that cost 10,000. You would be borrowing the 9,000. Which, another thing I want to get straight is you can't lose more than you have in your account. A lot of people just don't get that. But this is more like a normal professional exchange. Doesn't have 5 times, 10 times, 25 times, 50 times leverage. That makes it user friendly. That usually hurts noobs because they don't understand it. If you do it this way, you actually will understand what you're doing. But anyways, if you had 1,000 account, let's say Bitcoin was 10,000, you wanted to short or long one Bitcoin. Obviously, you have $1,000 towards it. The 9,000 would be what they lend you to do the trade. That would make it 10 times leverage, because 10 times 1,000, or 10 times 1,000 would be 10,000. That would make it 10 times leverage. If you used $100 and traded a Bitcoin, that would be 100 times leverage, because you would need 100 times your $100. So say you have the $1,000 and you want to play half a Bitcoin, that would be 20%. So you know, if you need more explanation, leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll make a video all about that to help you guys understand that. But yeah, that's how the leverage is figured out, by margin, not by clicking a button. Those are the scary exchange. Like I said, this exchange, in my opinion, is one of the safest crypto exchanges out there. Plus, you can trade Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, Dow, everything all in one exchange. Enough of that. Let me know in the comments down below if I should redo another Primex BT video to show you how the margin works. All right. Looking at another chart in the daily, like I said, look at this as a rising, broadening wedge here. We've had the 3 touches up top and 1, 2, 3 touches at the bottom. Move this over a little. Does look like if we break this line here, which is around that 11.2, like I said, if we close the daily below that, we're probably headed towards that 10.5. And if that breaks, we'd be looking for that $96, $9,700 gap fill. And if that breaks the bottom of this line, let's take a measured move of that. If it was to break down here, that would be around $65,000. Now let's take a look at the Fibonacci retracements. And looking at the retracement levels from the swing low to the swing high, our first retracement level is almost lined up with the neckline of what people consider a inverse head and shoulders here, which I do not, unless we come back down, test it, and get a bounce. There is always that possibility. But the 0.236 fib is at 10,460. If that does not hold, 9,200 is the 0.382. And then we have the 0.5 fib at 81.53. If that doesn't hold, the golden pocket is between 68.60 and 71.20. And then, of course, our 65.33 target. And if that does break, 56.81 is the 0.786. And then, of course, if all that doesn't hold, we have our CME gap way down here around the $3,500 to $3,600 range. One more way to help support the channel, inkyourimage.com. There's a link down below. Check it out. It is my wife's webpage. A lot of cool crypto stuff on here. She can put anything you want on any of this stuff. It doesn't have to be just what you see. All right, 4 hour. So, looking at the 4 hour chart, first thing I want to point out here, if we look at the RSI is making higher highs in the RSI in the 4 hour, lower highs in the price action. That is bearish divergence. Of course, we do have 49 minutes before this candle closes. It could erase that, but I do want to point that out. That's what we're looking at right now. Now, let's get into the price action a little bit. All right, so let me explain everything here. This here, if you look at this orange trend line here, we've obviously had support, resistance. A measured move of the breakdown from that, looking at that as a rising channel, gets us down to, move this up a little, gets us right around that $10,200 range, $10,230. That's the measured move if this is the support line here. And I have the dotted orange line here going from this wick here, this wick here. We had a wick before we broke through, and then our pump yesterday hit that dead on along with the 55 EMA there, and got rejected. So most likely that one makes a lot more sense to me, and we'll take a measured move of that, go over to where we broke down. That gets us to, it's actually a little bit lower than that. That gets us to about the $9,900 level. And of course, if we went down that low, pretty sure we would go down and close the gap. Now let's look at where we're at now. It does seem to be pumping a little bit as I'm making the video. We did get some bounce off the 200 EMA here. The 8 EMA looks like it wants to cross the 13. We are getting support on the 21 EMA right now. And if we went up to 11.5 is where this solid trend line is, and then if we went all the way up to the top here, would be around 11,650 if we retested that dotted trend line. I'm going to put a target there also, but watch that area. I would expect a rejection around the 11,520, and then we have the 55 EMA around the 11,560. That I would expect a rejection there. A lot of times we wick through like we did over here. That could get us to that $11,650 range. But unless we were able to break above that 11,648, I would have to stay bearish here. But if we do break that, we could come all the way back up into these areas. If you can see that 13,179, that's a pretty bullish case scenario, which I doubt we would ever break it if we did get up there. I don't want to say ever, but this time around. And that is just a trend line from this rising wedge over here. As you can see, we broke through in March, and that would be coming back up to retest that in around the 13,100 to 13,200 area. That is the highest I would see us go there. If we did break above this, come back down and get support on it, full-blown bullish at that point. But guys, it's time for a correction here, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. This is taking a, as you notice, each time we switch into a different time frame, there's different views you can look at, because you can have a bullish 15-minute, a bearish hourly, a bullish 4-hour, a bearish daily. It all depends on how you're looking at the charts and how you're trading them. Let's take a look here at what we're looking at. Same thing in the hourly. We have higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action. That's bearish divergence. It's actually hidden bearish divergence. So it is looking pretty bearish. Other than the EMAs look pretty bullish here. And as you can see, if we zoom in, the 55 EMA has been crossed by the 21, 13, and 8 EMA. And we are getting support on the 8 EMA right now. That lies around 11,440. A break of that would bring us down to, and this is the hourly chart, guys. A break of that would bring us down to about 11,430. And a break of that, 21 EMA lies around 11,400, and then the 55 EMA around 11,400, depending on how long that took. Obviously, these would move. But as of right now, the 200 EMA, if we came up to test it now, would be around that 11,540 to 11,550 area. I would expect a rejection there. We'll see what happens. But as you can see, that we got rejected pretty hard right here yesterday, and actually, so we got one more thing possible as a bullish case. If we look at these yellow lines I have drawn in here, the dotted one being the support, solid one being resistance, and we look at that as a falling broadening wedge. We would have to break. Where is my, here it is. Sorry about that. We would have to break that 11,730 range. And if we did that, we could be looking to go as high as that 12,700, which could be enough. If you remember on the weekly back here, could be enough to get us up and retag this. So that's the only thing keeping me a little bullish, or giving a bullish possibility, I should say, is another retest of this. But if we get a retest of this and a rejection, it is going to be an ultimate short, in my opinion, all the way down to retest this trend line here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Let me see if there's anything else I'm forgetting to tell you. Yeah, I do have the target 11,800 area. And that's coming down to retest this trend line here. We talked about that yesterday. And then we have, obviously, our lower targets. Looking at this as a rising wedge. If you remember yesterday, we did have this target at 11,133. We've had it there for a couple days. We came down, tagged it again. Let's move this up now. That target moves up, so now it's around that 11,070 to 11,200. That is a key area, guys. If we break that and come down, we are at least going to the 10.8 in my opinion, and then we have a target of 10,100, and that being, looking at this as a rising wedge with the breakdown over here. Nope, that one gets us to, that's that 99.50. let's move that down there. And then, of course, we have the 96,9700 gap fill right there. And that would be just looking at this whole thing as a rising channel with the dotted line being support, solid line being resistance, and breaking down past that 11.2 would be around that 9,600. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click the CryptoSavy logo above my head. That will get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash that like button and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Take it easy. I'm out.